Yo, what's going on, everybody? Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. Let me put the chat right here. This is another impromptu stream. Hey, well, I need some more volume. There we go. All right, it's an impromptu stream. So if y'all join, y'all join. If y'all don't, y'all don't. Y'all can catch it on the replay. But first and foremost, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially if you're a subscriber or follower. Happy Mother's Day to you. It's a little rainy out here. How's it looking in y'all area? Like about 3 years ago, the same thing happened. It rained on Mother's Day, and it was just trash. So we were smart and did a lot of our stuff yesterday. Therefore, we wouldn't have to contend with the weather today. Now, I know you clicked on the video and you want to see me talking about fake recruiters and all these different job scams type of things, and that's what we're going to get right into. I'll be actually reacting to my own content, and I'll also be sharing some stuff that I did as well when we talk about it. But to give you context, I had a client that at the time he was a client, it was just a consultation call, and he was telling me that he had got hit up by a recruiter for a job at Intuit at the time, and it was a senior help desk job. It was paying a lot of money. Now, hindsight being 2020, I should have said, "Are you sure?" However, in the consultation, I'm not as thorough if someone's telling me they got a job opportunity coming up as I am with a client. Because typically with a client, I'm like, okay, who is it? Who's the recruiter? Who you gonna be interviewing with? I asked like all these different questions. Hey, send me the link. So he actually sent me the JD, and we can actually look at the JD now real quick while people are in here. But when you get in here, hit the like button, share it out. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, just leave it playing in the background. We really trying to get everything back up. So actually, let's do this. I'm going to share the job description so you guys can check this out, and then we'll actually react to my video that I did. Let's see. Share screen. I know what it's going to do. Give me a second. There we go. Like, for whatever reason, my StreamYard is not picking up this window, which is kind of like pissing me off, which is stupid. So let me see if I do this, will it pick it up? Yep. All right. So check it out. Here's the JD right here. And I want. All right. There we go. And let me make that bigger for some of y'all. So, when I initially saw this, I didn't bat an eye at this range because I was contacted by Intuit, 3-4 years ago? Because I believe they own Credit Karma, and they was offering like a crazy bag for a security role. So I didn't think this would be out the realm of possibility for a help desk, because I do know there are help desk roles that pay this much. So it's standard run of the mill of what you would see from a job description: seeking senior help desk technician, level 1, level 2, comprehensive level 1, level 2 stuff, and then the qualifications. You know, nothing crazy, because literally all it mentioned is auto and AV stuff, and here's the preferred qualification. So kind of standard, a little BS type of stuff, right? Now the other thing is, let me go back up here and remove this from the stage. The other thing is that he was talking about, the recruiter kept on hinting at like ATS, ATS, ATS. And that's just a red flag in itself, because if a recruiter reaches out to you, you don't have to worry about ATS. So let's actually see. Oh, hang on. What is going on with this stuff? Let me put my video file up here, and we'll actually check it out. Give me a second.
If you are a job searcher, I want you to watch this video. So there are all type of job search scams going on out there, and I want to show you one that a client of mine just ran into. So some context is, last week I had a call with him, and we discussed a role that a recruiter reached out to him for a role, and I asked him, had he sent a resume in yet? He said no. And so I was like, cool. I'm I'm gonna redo the resume so we can make sure that you definitely get to the next level and at least talk to the hiring manager. So check out what the recruiter sent him today. So I have been asking him over the last couple of weeks, well, really over this last week, hey man, what's the update on the process? God did his resume super fast so he could have a chance at this opportunity. This is what the recruiter said. They reviewed his resume and talking about it still does not meet ATS standards and it needs to be refined more. And then they say, for us to proceed with your application, the resume will need to be properly updated and aligned with the role. If you're able to revise it on your end, kindly share the updated version once ready. If you like support, I can connect you. Now here's where the biggest red flag is. I can connect you with the trusted career branding specialist who focuses on optimizing resumes for ATS and hiring.
Now, sorry guys, I was trying to get the format and layout good for y'all. I think I had to delete one that I made, but so check this out. I did his resume, and it was much more tailored to that job description that we just looked over, and this is what they sent back. And I was like, something ain't right. And so as I got more information from him, I realized that he'd been duped, and I don't think he really paid attention enough to realize that he was almost duped as well. As far as, because I kept on asking him, yo, like, what's up with this? Have they got back to you or what? He was like, nah, they ain't got back to me. And then he finally hit me, was like, yo, they got back to me. And I was like, okay, give me this recruiter's email. And so this is where I already knew that it was pretty much a scam. The recruiter was already trying to impersonate another recruiter on LinkedIn that actually does work at Intuit. But the issue was that they tried to masquerade their email as an Intuit email. However, they weren't smart enough to send it from something that didn't show Gmail, or they don't know how to spoof it to actually make it look like it came from Intuit. And it was whatever the person's name, it was some stupid, like recruiter or some Intuit at gmail.com. And that's how I was like, yeah, this is a a foul. But let me finish playing the video so I can also tell you what you should do when you have like a hunch like something too good to be true.
Team review. This is optional, but the resume does, I can't see what this last part say, to move forward. Let me know how you want to proceed. Now, a couple of things here. Number one, if a recruiter reaches out to you via email or in-mail on LinkedIn, you don't have to worry about the ATS because your resume is going to get reviewed by a little recruiter. Two, if the recruiter does not like your resume, they will not pass you along. They are not going to tell you, hey, fix your resume and make sure it's ATS friendly, and then I'm going to pass it along. Number three, recruiters do not try to send you to somebody else that's a career strategist so they can do your resume. There are recruiters that offer resume services, but they are upfront about this, and it is not related to any type of role that you would be applying to in their company. So he almost fell for this. As we got more information, I said, yo, send me who this recruiter is supposed to be. So they were impersonating a legitimate recruiter, but when I went to check their LinkedIn, they hadn't been active. And then this is what I also did. I went back to the job description that he sent me, and I looked it up on the actual Intuit career site. And so, watch this. So that role was supposed to be for a help desk person that was in like Atlanta. And
I'm just gonna pause it right there, that way I can interject as much because you probably can't see it. You'd have to like zoom in or look at it on like TikTok. I posted this on TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So this don't even go for this just recruiter scamming. This goes for any role you see on a third-party website. I don't care if it's LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, whatever. Like, because what happens on LinkedIn a lot of times is you'll have some AI scraper or some third-party service saying, "Oh, our client is looking for so-and-so," and the whole time they just repurposing roles that they saw online, probably to get your information and be able to pitch you things or whatever. But a lot of times what they're advertising, the role is no longer open. Or maybe the role never existed. And so that's why it's always best to just go to the company site and apply anyway. Because like, let me see if this actually a role. Because typically, also if you work on a recruiter, you can put your stuff in and you'll have like either a profile you got to submit and that you can log on and check your status. Or a lot of times they're going straight through because they're the middleman between you and the job. But let's keep going real quick.
And as you can see, there's nothing that shows that. I went through everything. I literally keyworded it. I went through like all cities. and it was not found. So that's another way how you can verify if a recruiter is actually reaching out to you for a legitimate role or they BSing you and trying to scam you. So I made this video to say, hey, please stay diligent. It's rough out here. Do not fall for the traps. If it's a recruiter, tell them to send you a job description or send you a URL. Most of the time, when recruiters reach out to me, they actually send me a link to the actual careers website and I apply. Or if they don't have one, a lot of times it's a document, but they're a verified recruiter. And LinkedIn does have a feature that says that. Now, his instance, the other flag was they were emailing him on his company's work email, which is kind of odd to me. But yeah, just verify everything. It's a cybersecurity call to zero trust. Hey, you can't trust nobody. The game don't love nobody. But if you like information like that, tune into the page, tune into my podcast.
We can remove that. But yeah, that was it. And then also the other ones I've seen in the past from dealing with clients is you'll have the scam where you apply to a job on Indeed or something. They have you do this fake assessment or something, and then they say, oh, you got the job. And most of the time, the job is some type of salary that just does not make sense based on your interview process. And then they'll try to say, oh, we need you to go to Walmart or whatever. You got to get a gift card or something. All that little BS. Or we're going to send some equipment to your house. Like, it's already so many job scams out there. And I feel bad for people that have to go through that because people real deal don't know how to get interviews anymore. The way of just applying doesn't work as good anymore. And you can have the best resume ever. You could be ex-Google, ex-Microsoft, ex-Netflix, all that, and still struggle to get hit back. And that is simply because AI is flooding the market with all these different applicants. So if you're getting 2,000 applicants for a role, now the people that's actually qualified probably never get even looked at. And so that's why you have to figure out, okay, how am I going to go past worrying about ATS and get a human to see my skill set so I can show them that I'll be good for the role. And that's what I try to work on with people all the time. Like a little bit of some of the stuff changes from year to year, but the fundamentals still don't change of using LinkedIn as a tool. You can use X as a tool to find hiring managers. You can use really any social media. You just got to use it the right way to get what you want to get in the long run. So that's kind of what I see from a lot of hiring. And I heard that from recruiters as well. Let me stop that and let me see. I think I had some other stuff that was going to line up with the recruiter stuff. And it is, matter of fact, this was perfect. This was the one where the lady was talking about the hiring system and DEI and how it was like it's
Companies
changed.
started rolling back DEI. You're not seeing the real hiring system. A lot of people are noticing something feels off, and you're not wrong. As someone in HR behind the scenes, there used to be intentional goals. Yes, intentional goals. To make sure hiring wasn't just the same default over and over again. It forced companies to actually look at talent they would have overlooked otherwise. Now that those guardrails are gone, hiring is quietly drifting back to familiar. And familiar often means the same backgrounds, same schools, same networks, same looking people. Fewer black hires, less diverse teams.
I want to pause it right there because I have not done any type of research to see in the last 2 years has the amount of African American hires. I mean, technically, I could just guess and say yes, but it ain't always what you feel, it's about what you can prove. Has that been down since all this stuff going on? Now, I do know that when interviews and everything, and people like to hire people that are like themselves, and that's one of those things that you run into. And it's not even, if I even take it off skin color, we're just talking about diversity of just having a different background and working somewhere different and not being the typical avatar of what you select to work. So I've seen that a lot, and I think a lot of my black people probably also feel like I just got interviewed to interview. Like it almost feel like, in a sense, the Rooney Rule, if anybody's familiar with the NFL, where they have to interview some black head coaches, even though they probably most of the time don't hire them. They just interview them to say they interviewed them. That's what a lot of the job search kind of feels like now. And sometimes you're left bewildered. You're like, I know I killed the interview. Like, what happened? Like, really, what happened? Why did I wake up and get ready and do all this other stuff? And I know I did good. Show me who. I think they should, like, a couple things they should make. If you have to do X amount of interviews. That's going to take a lot of your time. You should probably should get paid for it. I believe they should also let you see who got the job over you, because I don't think a lot of companies will do that, because they have to prove that the person who got the job over you has the qualifications to do the job and was a better fit than you. So I don't think that'll ever happen, because that's how companies find themselves in lawsuits where, for example, I had an episode I was doing with Shanae, recruiter cousin, years ago, and we were talking about how they have to make sure when they select candidates that they at least have the bare minimum qualifications, simply because if we hire somebody that does not have the bare minimum qualifications and somebody finds out, we could be in trouble as a company because we hired somebody that technically was not qualified for the role and we passed over somebody that was qualified. But like I said, that stuff is only hard to prove because we don't really get to see who's in it. I mean, sometimes you'll see somebody, hey, I just started so-and-so job. And it's like, I know I just interviewed for that. Let me go look at their experience. Or sometimes I look at who I'm interviewing with and I go see what they was at. I was like, I got more experience than them. How did they get to that level so fast? So I definitely feel her on that. Let her keep going.
No one is saying it out loud, no memo, no announcement, but the outcomes, oh, they're speaking. Understand that it's always not right in your face discrimination. It's comfort, bias, and pattern recognition, taking over when there's no accountability in place. So if you're applying and can't even get one call back, you already know what it is, and you're not imagining it. This is why structure in hiring matters, not performative statements from these companies, because you know they just be saying whatever to get your business or continue getting your business. I'm talking about actual systems that force fairness, because without them, merit starts looking a lot like preference.
That was a bar at the end. That definitely was a bar. The merit looks like preference thing. I don't know, man. I still know there are people out there getting hired, black people too. It's just a lot. And speaking of, I might as well bring up some stuff now that segue into different topics as far as let me see, where's the screenshot I had from AJ Young. For y'all don't know AJ Young, he had the book about AWS and what is it, GRC engineering, as well as the GRC engineering club. And I screenshot something he said and I posted it in a Black IT group a while ago. Let's see, where is it at? Okay. He said, saying, I'm not technical, I can't do that in 2026, red flag. And you should have saw the feedback that I got from that post in that Facebook group. And sorry about that, my daughter threw me off. You should have saw the feedback that I got from that, because people really was trying to say that's gatekeeping. I'm like, telling people they need to learn how to become more technical in 2026 is not gatekeeping. In fact, it'll be doing you a disservice to let you believe you can still continue the way you were going in your career. That would be a disservice. That would be somebody who don't actually care about telling you the truth, because AI's here. They are using AI, especially in security, is trying to offset some stuff, whether it's small or tedious. A lot of that little easy stuff that you can do on a day-to-day where you schedule your meetings and join your meetings and you fill your Excel files out, like here, here, and here, and then you don't do nothing for the whole day. A lot of stuff gonna come to an end. It's gonna be leaned out. So you're gonna have to execute on being technical, strategy, solutions oriented, architecture, all that. Somebody's asked thoughts on overcoming a bad PIP. Didn't you ask about that before? I'm trying to remember. Didn't you ask us about a PIP before? I remember you asked about like how to get out the salary range. You could beat your PIP and probably still get laid off. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is my PIP warranted? Like if you think your PIP is warranted, then you might be cooked anyway. You might be all out of chances. But if your PIP is unwarranted, then document how you're supposed to, get a new job, and then probably go file a complaint. That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to tell you to beat a bad PIP because it's rare. I know some people that's beat it, but like I said, you can look online all you want to. You can meet everything, and they still let you go. Because once they put you on the PIP, it's like there had to be talks before you got on the PIP. They can't just put you on the PIP because, okay, we're putting this guy on here for this, and this. And then a lot of times in them talks that you had, you would typically have to show that, hey, I wasn't trained the right way, or y'all didn't show me how to do this or that. And so the onus would be back on them. So that's my advice on the PIP. Like, everybody's came in and seen the shows and said, hey, you see a PIP, you got to dip. Let me see. There we go. Okay, cool. I don't know how many likes and stuff that we got on the video, but please, if you're in the video, please hit like, share it out. I did a poll too, and I said, are my subscribers seeing my notifications? And a lot of people said no, they're not seeing the notifications when I'm going live and I'm recording or dropping videos. So that definitely sucks. I'm like, man. So I'm actually going to do that poll now. All right. So I just put that poll in there. Hopefully y'all able to interact with it. But needless to say, all in all, the diversity is needed. Like I said, I've had some good times where I've had Black people in HR reach out, look out for me or help me out with my offer letters or make sure I get in. Or push back and say, hey, why don't we hire this person? Why does everybody look the same on our team? So that's definitely a big one. That's definitely a big one. And it's hard to figure out what companies actually really want to be diverse, because then you say, okay, cool. Well, if it's a company that we got to use stuff from, we just going to boycott them. Y'all can't take our money and then not hire us. Okay, we said we got 28 watching, 13 likes. We need some more likes. And so just for that, y'all know what I got to hit y'all with.
Bruh, man. What's up, man? Bruh, man need love, too. All right, one love. Let's... Bruh, man. What's up, man?
Let me take that out of there. My fault. It was looping. But yeah, man. Also, we will get back to regular scheduled programming next week. I got a lot of things that I'm gonna be shooting next week. Hopefully, me and Cybershortieee get back to doing our weekly episodes next Sunday. And also, I've been reading her book, so hopefully that y'all copped her book as well. What this says right here. YouTube notifications are terrible. You literally have to click the notification button on the user channel, even when you're a subscriber. And literally, yes, I've seen that happen to me on people that I follow. I say, I ain't seen their stuff in a while. So the algo is tripping. So I know, so a couple of things I want to do. I think I'm going to make us a Kick page. I think I'm going to start streaming on YouTube and Kick, just because that's a live streaming platform, just to see what we would get out of that. And honestly, to see everything, guys, I got the Patreon down there, $2 a month, $24 a year. You can join, and I got different tiers where in certain tiers you join the Patreon and you actually can have a consult with me. But definitely help out with that, because they've changed the algo so much so, and I'm always just doing different things to reinvent the wheel. And it wasn't easier, but it seemed like my algo used to work much better as I was just focused on putting out great content. But now a lot of people, it's not true that they're not interested. It's just different. Like, I've moved away from so much of the how to get into tech and all that type of content, just because I may make some stuff of that, but it'll be more niche down to people that want to be on the blue team, which I got some of that stuff coming. Okay, so if you brought that up and they didn't train you correctly and it's blown off, I would suggest you just start looking for another role. Don't waste your time. They didn't value you enough to consider your concerns when you told them this didn't happen. Therefore, yeah, they're just trying to manage you out, and they're going to bring somebody else in the role. So that's what I would focus on. I wouldn't trip. Now, let's have some fun. Actually, you know what? Let's laugh at this one real quick. Not laugh at it, but this is another thing with a recruiter was reacting to something crazy he saw on social media.
To pass the quarter test. Back in college, when I entered at an investment bank, my manager was going through resumes, and I noticed that there was a pattern. All the resumes that had a bunch of white space were getting rejected immediately. And I'm like, how are you doing it so fast? Well, he said, Jerry, resumes have to pass a quarter test. If this quarter fits on a big enough white space on your resume, then it doesn't have enough content.
Let me start with the worst part of this video. That article is made up. Website doesn't exist. That writer doesn't exist. It's made up to try and add validation to this stupid video. You need white space on your resume, and let me explain why. And if you find this helpful, my name is Mike. I'm an actual director of recruiting who still works in the industry, and I will talk about viral job search content, good and bad, to help you get an understanding of what's real and why things happen. So be sure to follow. The thing is, recruiters get thousands of resumes for a lot of jobs. We do have to move very quickly. That is true. But white space is your friend for that reason, to an extent. When we open up the resume and see a giant wall of text, we don't know where our eyes should be going first. You want to make sure the most important things are highlighted, and white space can help with that. Now, the one true thing he did say is recruiters only have that little bit of information to go off of, so you do have to make sure the most important stuff is on there, but that does not require filling every inch of paper. And the idea that anyone's actually taking a quarter and holding it up to the paper and throwing out any resumes where it fits is just viral internet nonsense. This is content made for no other reason than to go viral and sell resume services. White space is good, but it's also not a rule that has to be there, but this advice is just a big made-up thing, including a made-up news story. And if you like the idea of me doing this as a series, let me know in the comments, and tag me on some videos you'd like me to talk about.
Yeah, I've never heard that either. Doing resumes last 6 years, I've never heard anybody talk about no quarter test. You do want to not have a whole bunch of white space, but you do want to have it enough to where everything's not running together. So it wants to look uniform. And that's why boring is best when it comes to resumes. Boring is best. I see people try to do too much, 2 columns, 3 columns. Hey, nah. I need to go from top to down easy, not looking over and seeing what goes where. So don't have a column resume. He said, I made a troubleshooting mistake, and my manager was quick to place me on a PIP. Okay. Yeah, that's not how that's supposed to go. So you kind of already got your answer, and I think you just wanted to get some clarity on it. I say leave. Start school tomorrow at my computer career with ITSA program. An 8-month course and can get up to 6 certs upon completion. Okay. What about the certs? I'm less concerned about the certs and more concerned about, are you going to be able to get a job after 8 months? Anybody can go get that many amount of certs. Granted, I also don't advocate for people just to chase certs off the strength that certs can get expensive. Certs can get pricey. So I definitely don't always advocate for people to definitely do that. But they're paid for free. It's a free program. They got a good track record for getting people roles. By all means, hey, do it. But I will say, sometimes those programs give you different certs that don't line up with the role you want. So you'll have to get creative with what certs you leave on the resume and what certs you leave off. So just keep that in mind. Now, moving along. Let's laugh at this real quick.
Your word is Fahrenheit.
That's a common word.
Fahrenheit. Common, boy.
That's a standard. You done heat up now, ain't it?
Easy. Fahrenheit. F-E-R.
Man, get out that chair, man. What are you doing? Get out the chair. Nobody trying to hear no explanation or nothing. Get out the chair.
It ain't gonna smell like it sounds. Fahrenheit.
That's what he get, exactly. Now you know how I feel. Get out the seat.
Spell it. I got it. How you spell it?
It's F-A-H-R-E-N-A-I-E.
No way is the air.
Man.
That's Fahrenheit.
Get out the chair. No Fahrenheit. You ain't never heard it pronounced no Fahrenheit.
What I'm saying. So why would it be?
Fill up, man.
Conscientious. Man, listen.
You mean conscience? Conscience?
Conscientious.
It could be pronounced conscious or conscientious.
How you pronounce it?
I just said it.
He was conscientious about his consciousness.
You mean continuous? No.
I'm going to definitely mess up on conscientious. I know how to say the word. I'm trying to build. If I think I was writing it down, I probably would get to the end and figure it out. But yeah, conscientious is one of the ones.
C-O-N. C-H-C, no, wait. C-O, no, that is right. C-O-N, C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N, C-I-O-U-S.
No, wrong.
C-O-N-S-C-I-E-N-T-I-O-U-S. So it's conscientist. Surveillance.
Pass the mic. Surveillance.
Surveillance.
They gave him an easy one.
Surveillance. S-U-R-V-E-I-L-A-N-C-E. Wrong. How do you? It's two L's. What?
Did I spell the rest of the word right?
Sit down.
It don't matter. You spelled all the words right. Who's turn? Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Get about in the seat now. That was a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
What a misspelling.
O'Keefe. Coincidence. Oh man. C-O-I-N-C-E-D-E-N-C-E. Coincidence.
Wrong.
Spell coincidence.
What did he say? He said C-E-D. You did?
Oh my God, bro.
That wasn't bad, man. You got out one word.
Actually, you know what?
Philip.
Let us know in the chat if y'all want us to do like a spelling bee on here live, like just spell, like we'll do like 5 words, whatever. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to make the spelling words be something that's like cyber related. But I thought that's pretty cool. Because think about it. When the last time you wrote your definitions 3 or 5 times each and did your spelling words? It's been a while. And that's the best way how to learn how to spell. And then when you read, when we used to read more, you figure out how to say different words based on how the vowels and consonants put together and this one and that one and all that other cool stuff. That I don't even know how to explain to my daughter no more. I just know how to say the stuff. Let me see. We really hadn't had. Let's see. This is actually piggybacking off this one, so let's check this out.
It's not the children's fault that the children are illiterate. It is not the teacher's fault that the children are illiterate. It is not the parents' fault that the children are illiterate. It is the government's fault that the children are illiterate because the government is designed to ensure that the children are illiterate.
I 100% agree with that creator. And we've known how to solve the literacy crisis for decades. The evidence has been there. The government just sat on the data and didn't use it. I'm Dr. Jared Van with a PhD in special education. Here's how they found the best ways to teach and didn't use them. In the late 1960s, the federal government ran the largest education experiment in American history, Project Follow Through. Over 350,000 children, dozens of competing instructional models. The question was simple: what works for disadvantaged kids? The answer was clear: direct, explicit, structured instruction won. Every other approach, discovery-based, child-centered, open classroom, lost. The data came back in 1977 and the field ignored it. Around the same time, the Great Falls Precision Teaching Project was measuring elementary school students using fluency-based measurement and charting daily. By 4th grade, those kids were reading at the 95th percentile. The comparison school was at the 71st, and the field ignored that too. So instead, what spread through the teachers' training programs was whole language, the false idea that kids learn to read the way that they learn to speak, through natural exposure to meaningful text. And underneath that was another false theory that skilled readers predict words from context rather than decode them. People thought it felt intuitive, but it was wrong. Then came the reading wars, phonics versus whole language. And whole language won culturally while not having any data to support it. Why did the field look away from the evidence? Well, a few reasons. Direct instruction felt too scripted, too rigid. Teachers disliked it then, and many still dislike it today. Look in the comments. They say it prevents creativity. They felt it didn't work, and it could be frustrating for them to learn. Whole language gave teachers autonomy and gave the field a romantic story about literacy as natural meaning making. Some might say, what's more important, the instructional practices you enjoy using or the ones that produce better learning outcomes? Colleges of education education trained generations of teachers in approaches the data had already disqualified. Publishers sold what's sold. Now come here. Some of us believe the choice to select the more ineffective instructional practice was intentional. I mean, a less educated populace is easier to control and manipulate. Diminished literacy skills easily produce less informed, less critically thinking voters. I'll leave that for y'all to speculate on. But at least now you know the best way to teach literacy to fluency has been known for decades. Many teachers just weren't taught them. And to this day, no policy has been implemented to ensure that they do.
So he was cooking. I'm gonna remove that. But there was something he said in there. It was called whole language. Now I never heard that term, nor do I really understand what it means. So what I like to do on here is I like to look stuff up. This is what you literally should do. Instead of going to X and asking the question, just look it up. And so this AI overview, granted, is from Wikipedia. I don't feel like going through like a whole laundry list of articles since this is not like a research paper. But it says, whole language is an educational philosophy for teaching literacy by immersing students in meaningful, authentic text rather than isolated phonics drills. Based on the belief that learning to read is a natural process. Well, he kind of explained this, but I wanted to kind of reiterate what he was saying. It emphasizes comprehension, context cues, and reading for pleasure over decoding individual letters. Yeah, I can definitely tell how this is problematic because you need both. My structure started off with phonics and then just learn how to read and just knowing the basis of how to sound things out and what combinations of sounds mean what help you to continue to be able to read. Because I think when I pretty much read on a great level my whole life because I know in middle school I was already at the high school level because I had already been reading for so long. So without the foundation of learning phonics, it'd been tough for me to read. And I'm saying that because a lot of you probably have been seeing those high school kids who can't read Colonel. What was the other one that they couldn't read? I would have to go to the videos, but they're like, these words are not like super hard. Like gosh was one, and that, depending on how you want to say it, you probably can pronounce it wrong, but understand how to read it. But they couldn't get through some of these words. I think it was cataclysmic. I think that was one of the words that they were struggling with too. But it says core principles and techniques, immersion in literature, uses real books rather than decodable readers or textbooks. It makes sense though. Like these kids don't have the textbooks we used to have. All they have is iPads. It makes total sense why you have more parents, if they had the money to, they put the kids in private school or they just teach them themselves because of the way that they're teaching them when it comes to reading and math and everything else. Like these kids don't know how to do basic stuff. And what this does is leave them reliant on technology and all this AI and all this other crap so they can eventually, it's big business, so they can eventually just make all their money back by saying, hey, we got this for your kid or this. Your kid don't have to learn how to do all this other stuff no more. So pretty soon, if AI can't do it, the people won't be able to do it. That's what I think is going to eventually happen. Meaning over sound, focusing on the whole word, sentence, or story context rather than breaking words down into, what is that, phonemes? I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'm going to say this, phonemes or phonemes, but we'll see. Context cues encourages readers to guess unknown. Oh, cool.
Phoneme.
Okay, phoneme.
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 There we go. Encourages readers to guess unknown words using illustration, story context, or sentence structure. Integrated skills teaches reading, writing, listening, and speaking together rather than separate subjects. They are separate subjects. Process writing, active engagement. Whole language views reading as natural. Okay. Views reading as a code to be learned, required explicit instruction and linking sounds. Yeah, this is still undefeated in the best way to learn, to read, in my opinion. Let's see. Funny to think this government is meant to help black people or other people of color. That's the thing. Honestly, most people don't even know. They so hung up on us that it ain't helping nobody. But by the time the other people think they're so much different than us, they realize that they're the same, and they lost too. That's literally what you see happen now. All the people that voted for the president, and I'm gonna be honest too, we didn't have the best selections of who to pick, but at the end of the day, sometimes it was like, hey, what could have been worse? And I would hate to see what could have been worse than what is now. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. But yeah, that was cool. I think like a lot of this stuff ties into tech, cybersecurity, then all the different branches of it. I've said to people, and I've said on here before, everybody don't have the capacity to come into an IT role and work in tech. Why? Because everybody's not supposed to do it. Some of this stuff is for people who want to be challenged, who are good readers, because you got to learn a lot of different stuff through documentation, break stuff down. If you learn in coding, you compare coding to what they was talking about, phonics, basics in coding, just understand those different things. Or well, let me say scripting. Let me say coding, but scripting. All these different things are different. And if you're a person that mostly, I'm not going to say you struggle in school because I'm not going to say you struggled in school because you didn't find something disinterested. I'm saying you struggled in school because you didn't understand it. If that was you, doing something like this may not be what you are supposed to do because now you're going to have to lean up and learn super, super, super fast. So that's a lot of the stuff that's happening right now when people are getting to this industry of that. Yo, what's good, bro? What's good? What's good? But let me stop screen, remove that. So we got a couple other stuff that we didn't talk about. Personality hires. I think that was a fun one.
$150,000 to $200,000 base salary band. That is the max where you can get away with being the personality hire.
She's right, but let me tell you 3 reasons why. By the way, she's one of the content creators that offers the most sound advice on here, besides myself, of course. But the first reason, number one, is that there's something called fully loaded cost. I'll give you a senior leader, a budget leader perspective, right? There's something called fully loaded cost. Fully loaded cost means that although you're bringing home $150,000 cash, you're actually probably costing me $250,000, $230,000, somewhere in that range, typically 1.25 times your base salary. So let's say your base salary is $150, you have a 15% bonus, you're going to bring home $172,000, you're going to cost me $250,000. That's a lot of money for me to waste. Number 2 is that your salary is often, and a lot of studies have shown this in corporate America, where the more money you make, the more revenue you're responsible for, right? Even in commissioned environments. So if you're making close to $200,000 a year, you're driving probably $2 million plus in revenue. They say your salary is roughly 10% of the revenue you're responsible for. Third and lastly is that the corporate rules are changing very fast. You can be replaced. You can be replaced, and quickly. So get it together. And that's really all I have to say on that note.
I don't think this don't affect jobs like ours unless you like in tech sales, to be honest, because you will be responsible for generating revenue. They typically see our jobs as stuff that doesn't generate revenue and more of a cost. But there are other factors into your salary outside of making $150,000. How much the company pays for your insurance and everything, every pay period, your 401k, other benefits that you get. So that 150 number turns into 200 pretty fast, and that's on the low end. When you start getting the 200s, 300s, like those upper echelon salaries, and how much that they are paying for that, and also like he said or she said, like if you do look up and be a personality hire, they don't have a lot of time to babysit you. If you making over 6 figures, you better be doing what you're supposed to do to earn that money, because they're not giving out free money anymore. There was a time, y'all just hear, there was a time that they was actually giving out 6 figures just to give it out. Hey, can you stop? They was giving it out just to give it out, but not no more. You got to know stuff. You can't just get a couple of certs and say, hey, I'm finna go get in security. Not no more. I want y'all guys to notice too. Pay attention. If you've noticed that the amount of get into cybersecurity with no experience, content and courses and everything like that have went down. And why do you say that? Because of now that is super hard to do, to go from being a cashier or a fireman or whatever, or anything you were doing that's not tech related, to go work in security. That's why you've seen a lot of that stop. You've seen a lot of people that had stuff like that pivot and start doing other things, because at the time that was what we were supposed to do. Now everybody's talking about AI and everything else, which is why I saw the play years ago, and I realized after I did, I still got interviews I'm going to give y'all. And actually, if y'all haven't gotten around to it, check out my latest podcast episode that I'll give my guest, Myra Marbley. She was in the Marines as like a network engineer, and then got into the civilian life working in networking, and then she is now working in cyber, doing some cool things. Well, figuring out what she wants to do. So she has a unique perspective, and also ways on like some stuff that veterans can learn about in order to get their tech career started. Or if you just got into the military and you want to know, hey, how do I do this certain stuff in the military and then get out and have a whole separate career? So definitely check that one out. For whatever reason, I know a lot of people didn't see that notification when I dropped that one. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's in here. I think this is a glitch because I don't think it's that many people in here. But yeah, I was just yapping for everything I was talking about. But you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to earn it. And speaking of, if you are a person that, let me put this. First thing in my bio is about booking a call if you need help. Let me play this for y'all, for the people that's coming in real quick. This video is being sponsored by Textual Consulting. Are you still struggling to get into cybersecurity? Are you not getting interviews? Do you have a bad resume? Or is it all the above? Well, if that's you, then we got you covered at Textual Consulting. My name is Henry Davis. I'm a career coach and a cybersecurity professional, and I've helped hundreds, maybe even thousands of people get into cybersecurity with my coaching and my content that you've seen in various places. Now, I specialize in specifically getting people in the blue team. That would be incident response or SOC analyst. I can cover everything from your entry level to your medium to your advanced skills, and really help you outperform your resume. You don't believe me? Check out some of these testimonials that I've had from recent clients. So if you're interested, click the link in my bio, textualconsulting.com/offerings, to see what offerings that we have available for you. Now, back to the show. All right, I'm back. I will tell y'all that domain that's in that video, I no longer have that up. So you're better off going through the description. I have like my bundles in the academy in there, and anything on my bundles. If you click on a bundle, you'll have a long list of stuff, and you'll actually have a link to like my testimonials. These are real people on LinkedIn, so you can see their faces. You can go find them on LinkedIn. You can talk to them about me. I pride myself on real testimonials versus just paying some people to read some scripts for me. I've seen it all. But let's see. We have a couple of comments on here. Like I don't know if all these people are in here because the likes did not show that. But if all y'all people that supposed to be in here watching, like just hit thumbs up. I've been in IT or computer security since high school, before cyber was a buzzword. Nice. Yeah, I'm coming up on 13, 14 years, like just in corporate. But if I count college, I did help desk in college for like a year and a half to 2 years. So yeah, I'm getting on up there. But now I thought this was where is it at? I don't have ADHD, but I love to argue, so I thought this was cool.
Oh, I didn't know that for an ADHD brain, for the most.
Actually, let me pause it. I kind of self-diagnosed myself with it, but I don't know because I ain't got no diagnosis. But let's keep watching.
Not all brains, but for most ADHD brains, arguments are fun.
Yes. Coercive cycle of interaction. There's a term for it.
Coercive cycle of interaction.
You are reinforced by your coercive behaviors, and this is what we teach in behavioral parent management training. Another plug for an evidence-based intervention for ADHD. So, in behavioral parent management training, the first step is teaching parents about the coercive cycle of interaction and how their kids are reinforced to continue arguing because they eventually get what they want, and parents are reinforced to be more punitive because they eventually get what they want. So when you get
when you've done that as a child with your parent, and then you get into a relationship, and you're like, I can prove that I'm right. I can get you to see that the way I'm thinking is the way you should be thinking, and you just continue to engage in this spiral until you win, and the other person is pissed or they gave up because they're exhausted.
They're exhausted.
They're exhausted. They're exhausted.
Because the ADHD person can keep
going a lot of times, and you'll be like, can you just stop? And they're like, no. So instead of telling them to stop, you give them the positive opposite behavior, the to-do behavior. So instead of, would you stop talking? It's, can we take a quiet moment?
I thought that was pretty cool. I like to argue, but it's only on certain things. It has to be something that's going to probably bring me some money. I'm not lying to you. I ain't arguing nothing else if it's not going to bring me no money. Also, if Zelly, bring me that. Bring me that. Bring it to me. Hang on a second, y'all. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, it's definitely a glitch. I ain't never had 1,000 people in here. But yeah, like honestly, me and my cousin, it was like a little back and forth. But I also will stop engaging if I feel like you argue something I'm not, and I'm like, yeah, you're talking about something I'm not talking about. I'm not talking no more because that's not what I'm talking about. So yeah, I know an arguer. He's definitely an arguer. I can. Matter of fact, if I had time to, I would call him live. And I would tell him how overrated Dragon Ball Z is, and you would see him just start arguing with me just because he loved DBZ. And I like it, but I don't care for it that much. I think it's fairly simple. And, well, it's not always simple, but it started getting simple to where I was like, I could kind of predict what would happen. I don't like predictability in my shows. But, did y'all hear about Shiny Hunters in Canvas? I made like a video on that, but let me actually see if there's any updates on that while we're here. Let's see. I guess not. For the people that's not familiar with it, I'm gonna read about it really quick, and I think I got like 2 videos, whatever we can get into. Let me do this. Let me share the screen. Now, I've been saying for the longest about how higher education is at risk because of just, you got to think about it. Their primary concern is not digital security. I mean, they're trying to get better now. A lot of stuff that I've used now that I have school-age kids has seemed to be a little bit more secure, but at the same time, it's only so much they can do. And granted, in this situation, it's not really the schools, it's the systems that they use, so third party again. And so this thing says, higher education has long been a target of ransomware gangs and data extortion attacks, but never before, perhaps as a cyber attack against a single software platform so thoroughly disrupted the daily operations of thousands of schools across the United States. Yeah, I know on one of my videos, I was talking about Shiny Hunters from a previous hack, I think with Rockstar Games, and somebody coming in and was like, yeah, thanks to them, I can't do my homework. And then my cousin was talking about how he couldn't check his daughter's grades because of Canvas. But the widely used digital learning platform Canvas was put into maintenance mode on Thursday after its maker, the education tech giant Infrastructure, suffered a data breach and faced an extortion attempt by attackers using the recognizable moniker Shiny Hunters. Though the hackers have been advertising the breach and attempting to extract a ransom payment from Infrastructure since May 1st, the situation took on additional immediacy for regular people across the U.S. and beyond on Thursday because the Canvas downtime caused chaos at schools, including those in the midst of finals and end-of-year assignments. This begs to be the question, though. I'm going to make my own question here. Is like, when you talk about disaster recovery, has anybody ever thought about what happens if Canvas goes down for X amount of time? What is our backup plan that students can still do their assignments and not have to worry about everything else being processed. So I know now this is going to be something where they're going to probably have a backup system to resort to. Had no choice. Universities like Harvard, Columbia, Rutgers, and Georgetown sent alerts to students about the situation in recent days. And let's see. They claim the breach affected more than 8,800 schools. The exact scale and reach of the breach is unclear, though, and the fact that Canvas was down throughout Thursday afternoon and evening further complicated the picture. In a running incident update log that began on May 1st, Steve Proud, Instructure's chief information security officer, said that the company had recently experienced a cybersecurity incident perpetrated by a criminal threat actor. He added on May 2nd that the information involved for users at affected institutions included names, emails, addresses, student ID numbers, and messages exchanged by users on the platform. The situation was ultimately marked as resolved on Wednesday, with Proud writing that Canvas is fully operational and we are not seeing any ongoing unauthorized activity. At midday on Thursday, though, the Instructure status page registered an issue where some users are having difficulties logging into student e-portfolios. Within a few hours, the company has added another status update. Man, I'm not going to read all this because this is a lot, but this actually sucks for people that definitely are in school, in college, and shiny hunters will not stop. They will not stop. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Now, I got let me see what I got left. I think I got like two joints left. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm gonna step away. 1 second. Give me a second. All right. Everything but Sally Mae tell people that have loans that, oh, I have a thought on why it's never been hacked. I do too. It's definitely, I don't know, they passing them loans around like crazy whole time. They should have just let them be forgiven. Like, they don't realize the strapping people paying $5,000, $8,000, $1,000 on that. If they don't have to pay it, they could put more money back in the economy. But what do I know? Let's see. I think we got, let's see, one more. Actually, yeah, let's do this one. My guy, Kyrie.
I feel like nobody talks about how it feels to hit six figures and then realize that, like, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Depending on what type of cybersecurity career you go into, the amount of visibility and, like, I'll call it stress that you have to take on to kind of like hover in that low six-figure range, by the way. I'll say low to mid six-figure range. Like, it almost balances it out. It almost makes you want to go back down to like a calm 90, 95K. Because you're in this weird space where like your life from 90K to like 130K doesn't really change all that much. I think after 150, you start to see some subtle changes in just like the access that you have. But the hard part about that is you start to see that you're approaching a little bit of a ceiling in terms of like how much money you can make, balanced against like how much time you want to put into your job. And then on top of that, once you cross that 100K mark, you get visibility into some of the stuff that happens like behind the scenes. So you start to see like contracts, and you start to see like, oh, we're onboarding this vendor for this much money and we're paying this vendor this much to do this. And then you start thinking like, damn, I could do this by myself. What am I really doing here? And so like you enter this complex psychological kind of space where you're forced between a decision to like just deal with life in the way that it is right now, where it's like you're working super hard, but you're not really seeing like a potently tangible result, or you can work even harder for the chance of like massive success. At least that's where I'm at right now. Y'all let me know if you know, maybe I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? My ex said that I was a narcissist and that I had delusions of grandeur. That's what she said to me. And maybe that's what this is. But y'all tell me if I'm tripping.
So he definitely was not tripping. I think that's when. So there's this thing where the guy I follow on here, I like a lot. A recruiter, Life at the Layoff. He's talking about how he believes in the future how fractional work will become huge, and how you could position yourself for that. Which shameless plug right here. Shout out to my girl Jay. Techpreneurs, if you want to learn how to work fractionally, C2C stuff, definitely give her a ring. But when you see that, I'm like, I could do that. This is where the ideas are coming from with the AI stuff now, like how they can try to scale it out and solve these problems. This is also where companies are going to try to probably get off of using so much third-party stuff and develop their own stuff with AI enhancing some of this stuff so they could take care of this instead of paying vendors all this money for pretty much basic stuff. Now, a lot of times they're either some buddy said, hey, I need this deal done for whatever reason, or they got it so they can be compliant to whatever. But truth be told, the stuff be trash. Like, it be grade A trash, man. It be grade A trash. I think that was the last video I had for y'all. This was a quick stream. And recap is check out the latest episode of the pod. We will be coming back to you guys on next Sunday. And also for my DFW peeps, Cybershortieee and I were talking about doing a meetup at Puttery out here in the colony. So if you're interested in that, definitely holler at us and give us your thoughts either in the comments or send us an email. We have our group email that is in the description at all times, so you can email me somewhere or you hit me up on Instagram, either or. But I appreciate everybody. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers, and hopefully for the fathers, we get more than socks and underwear. But until next time, I'm out. Peace.